Hi friends, it's Emma from Emma K Plans and welcome back to a very exciting video. As you guys know, I rarely film videos in my main planner, so I thought this one was worth it. So this is going to be, as the title suggests, the video plan with me of my week in Disney. So I'm back now, unfortunately, but I had such a great time and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So, I am using this kit from SPC. It is obviously Disneyland themed. I had already purchased this before I decided to stop shopping, but it really was the perfect kit, so I have no regrets. I don't know what other kit I would have used, so yeah, I got it in the ultimate format, and I got the extras, so the Fashion Girls, the extra boxes, which I didn't use, the 15mm, and I totally lost the doodle sampler sheet, which is really frustrating. I'm only just realizing now that I even had it because I forgot I had it and didn't use any of it, so I don't know where it is, but that's really frustrating. Anyway, I decided to use the Lavender Hollow Park Hopper bundle with this kit. I thought it was the perfect choice for obvious reasons. The color matches perfectly and obviously the design is right. And then I pulled in hollow foil bits as well. So I had these restaurant labels from Planner Hannah that my friend Elisa gifted me, and then the rides, the Magic Kingdom rides from SPC as well. I then had some quote overlays from Happy Sticker Designs. So, I have a 50-minute voiceover to get through, so I don't really know how I'm going to do this. That's like the longest. Normally my voiceovers are like 15 minutes, so this one's 50. So by the end I might be fried, but I thought what I would do is start with like just running through my plans from like the week before. So obviously you won't see them, but I thought it might still be interesting because that was like the first like couple of days of my trip. So, and then you can just watch me put down the base. There was a part that I actually cut out because I fucked up the one of my extender boxes so bad, and it literally took me 10 minutes, and I just thought, even sped up, like no one wants to see that. So I cut that out, but otherwise this is pretty much my like process from start to finish, and then I will come back obviously and talk about the day by day once we get there. So Saturday the 30th of April was the day, I guess technically, that my trip started. So I started off by obviously packing. I am a very last minute packer and I do not pack until I absolutely have to. And then I freak out that I haven't packed and then don't want to pack and then get stressed about it. So yeah. Also, the fan on my ancient desktop Mac just turned on, so I'm hoping you can't hear it, but if you can, I'm sorry. It's literally working through 50 minutes of footage and a microphone, and it's like 10 years old, so we just let her go. Anyway, so I packed my bags, and then to enter the US at the moment as either a tourist or a resident, you have to present a negative COVID test taken at like the day before travel. So I went to the local chemist and got that done. That was really stressful, even though like I have no symptoms and I don't feel like I have COVID. You obviously never know. You could be asymptomatic. So yeah, that was really stressful, like not knowing hopefully I could go on my trip or not, but obviously good news was it was negative. Then I went to my parents' house, and we had organised like a car service to come and pick us up. So that came, and we did the transfer to the airport, which we've never done before. Normally we drive into the airport and park, but because there was 5 of us and baggage, we would have had to take 2 cars, and we just didn't really feel like doing that, so we booked a car service instead. We went to the airport, had dinner at a place called Salsa's, which is like a Mexican takeaway chain here. You know, quite like nachos, quesadillas, like classic takeaway Mexican food, I guess. Then we flew to Sydney. So from where I live, Melbourne, that's like an hour flight, a domestic flight, because we were taking the international flight from Sydney the next morning. You can also fly out of Melbourne direct to LA, which is what we normally do, but it was quite a bit cheaper to go via Sydney instead, so that's what we did. And then we stayed the night at a hotel at Sydney Airport, which was like fine. It was just for a couple of hours, so it didn't really matter. And then on Sunday, started the day, of course, with McDonald's breakfast. What else would you do? And then we flew from Sydney to LA with United. It is 13 hours from Sydney to LA, so obviously a very long plane ride, but we've done it quite a few times now. You kind of just know how it goes. Essentially, you start the plane off like with all the lights on, and they serve food, normally watch a movie, and then like probably 3 or 4 hours in, it's lights out, and like as it suggests, the plane turns all the lights off, you fly into the night, and then you obviously are trying to sleep, and then you land at LA at 6 a.m. that morning. So it is a very long day, because then you have the whole day in LA, because you've literally landed at 6 a.m. But, yeah, I'm kind of used to it now. I've done it quite a few times, and it is what it is. You're there and you're ready to go. So, on the plane, I watched Twilight, first of all, which is like my comfort movie. So that kind of just relaxed me and kind of settled me in, ready to sleep. Then I slept, and I woke up with like couple of hours to go, and I watched Jurassic Park, so my other comfort movie, which was awesome that United had both of those movies on the like seat back entertainment, so I didn't have to worry about bringing my own like iPad or computer or anything. Like I'd already looked that up, and I knew both of those movies were on there and I was going to watch them, so that worked out really well for me. Then we picked up our rental car from the LA like rental car place, which is kind of crazy. You have to get the bus there, and then there's like 1,000 million cars, it feels like. So we picked up our car, and then we drove to some shops to like get some food and stuff, because obviously you don't really want to eat the plane food, and it's 13 hours on the plane. So first stop was Starbucks to get a pink drink. So my brother and myself love Starbucks pink drinks, but you can't get them anywhere outside of the States and maybe Canada. I don't know, I haven't been to Canada, but I've been to Starbucks in Europe, Asia, and obviously Australia, and you cannot get them anywhere else. So whenever we go to America, we go straight to Starbucks and get pink drinks, because we just love them. So that was the first stop. Then we went to Walmart, which is always the Australians' first stop on an American trip, because we don't have Walmart here, and it's just like so crazy that you have like a supermarket and like we would call it Kmart, like a home store all in one, and then you can get like sports stuff, and then you can get like, it's just crazy. We just do not have anything like that here, so it's always funny. Then I went to Target, and I actually got like quite a few clothes from their like summer line, which was like nice. Like I don't know, I just wasn't expecting that. So got quite a few nice things that I then went on to wear at Disney, which is really helpful, because obviously here like May, we're going into winter, so I couldn't really buy anything new for the trip, because we're going into winter and it's literally summer over there. So that was good. We went to Ross. For Mum, she loves Ross, and then we went to the Disney outlet, and I picked up a few things, so that was nice. Then I have an empty label here, and it took me a second to realise what it's going to be. I'm waiting on some scripts from Carly Plans. I went straight to Panera for my first lunch, so I am obsessed with Panera. I always have been. Again, we don't have it here, so I can't get it here. We don't really have anything like it, and I just love me some Panera mac and cheese. It is my favourite. Like, I love it so much. So I went straight in. I got my half grilled cheese, mac and cheese combo, and I was just in heaven. Like, that'll do me. That's all I need for lunch. Like, I'm so basic, but Yeah, so good. Then we went to Downtown Disney, which obviously is just like, just, you've made it. Like, you're in the shop. I know it's called Disney Emporium. Is that what it's called in Disneyland or just Disney World? I don't know. The main, like, Disney shop, and you're just like, we've made it. Like, we're here. Can't believe it. After 4 years, 2 of those years obviously were COVID. We were locked in, like, just crazy that we were actually able to be there. So, bought so much stuff. Obviously, I collect ears, so I bought a few ears to wear, and then I bring them home and I frame them, and they're on my office wall, so I love that. And then we finished off with the Cheesecake Factory, so we actually started and finished the trip. You won't see, obviously, the end of this in this plan with me, because that was somewhere else. That was at Hawaii, but we started the trip with the Cheesecake Factory. We love the Cheesecake Factory, who doesn't? And then we actually finished the trip with the Cheesecake Factory, which was really nice. So then we move on to Monday, but I will wait a second to get there. I'm honestly not sure how much, like, how the speed... Oh, we're already there. So I might have to slow the clip up or slow the clip down or fasten it. I'm not really sure. There's a lot to go through, so I'm kind of just going to run through day by day what we did. Most of my Disney stickers are from Once More with Love. A couple are from Glam Planner, and then maybe that's pretty much it. If you've got a question about a specific sticker, please ask me, but I won't have time to go through all the stickers and tell the stories. So Monday was our first day in Disney, and we started off, we had a reservation at Goofy's Kitchen. So we've been there before for breakfast. We actually went, so on my last trip, the day after we got engaged, we had a reservation, and they obviously gave us badges and made a big deal out of it, and it was really special. So it was really nice to go back and just be there again and, experience it. And yeah, it's just it was such a good way to start the trip, doing a character breakfast. Obviously, they are so expensive, and on a cost per of food ratio, it's definitely not worth it. But I mean, you're in Disney, nothing's cheap. I don't know, I just feel like you've got to do it. So did Goofy's Kitchen. Then as we were so Goofy's Kitchen is the far opposite side of Downtown Disney from where we stay. So because we were on that side, we decided to just catch the monorail straight into the park. It meant that we didn't have to line up, because this was right around opening, so we didn't have to line up in the line. And also, we didn't really want to hold up the line, because this was our first day, and you have to do the photo of your pass and that sort of thing. So we decided to just catch the monorail instead and do it at the monorail station, which worked out really well. It just flowed. There was no queue, so we didn't feel bad holding up anyone, and it just worked really well. So we did that. We caught the monorail straight into Tomorrowland. We saw that the Nemo ride, which is probably the worst Disney ride of all time, in my opinion, except for Mickey's Death Wheel. But the pond had been drained fully, so we were like, okay, good. We don't need to feel bad about not going on that, because we all hate it. Our first ride, which is kind of a tradition in my family, was the Matterhorn. So, also because I used the Magic Kingdom scripts, some of the rides, obviously aren't at Disney World, so I wrote them in, I hand wrote them, and a couple of the rides have slightly different names at Disney World than they do at Disneyland, but I decided to use the script anyway. So, in case you noticed that, that's why. So, on the Matterhorn, which, as I said, is a family favorite, and same thing with Big Thunder. So those were our two first rides, because we just love them. And you'll see we went on Big Thunder quite a few times. Actually, a few times I didn't even mark, because we went on it so many times. It's just a classic, especially at night. You can't not love Big Thunder at night. It's just so good. Then we went straight to Splash, which is, so my top two favorite rides are Haunted Mansion and Splash, so it was so good to just go straight to Splash. And it's just the best. We just love it. Like, we got so wet that we did not expect. Like, it felt like they'd really filled up, like, the water because we got so wet. But, I mean, like, it's Anaheim. It's hot. Who cares? Then we went on Space Mountain, which probably surprised me the most out of, like, the rides. Like, I like space, but I came back from this trip loving space. It was done in the Hyperspace Mountain, like, overlay, because we were there over May the 4th, but it made it better. Like, I've been on Hyperspace Mountain in Paris, like the proper one, and that's the best Space Mountain, but this was so good, and I came back, like, now going, is Space Mountain my favorite ride? Like, what's going on? So, I don't know, it was so good. And then we went on, I don't think it's called Space Ranger Spin at Disneyland. It's called, like, Buzz. I don't know. I could probably look it up, but it's Space Ranger Spin. Like, that's what it is. So, that's what I used. Then It's a Small World. Obviously, you have to go on it. Like, you don't want to go on it because it'll send you to an early grave, but you have to go on it, so we did. It's always fun, like, playing who can pick the country that it is the first, you know, so, and then you get off and you're just brainwashed by the song, so, you know, fun things. Then we hung out and watched the Main Street Electrical Parade, which literally had come back, like, the day before we got there, so it was really good that we were able to see it. We have also seen it in Tokyo, but it was nice to be able to see it again as well. So that was the first day. That was like, get on all our favorite rides, like, do everything we can, finish off with Main Street Electrical, and yeah, so day by day there's a few things I had to leave out because I literally just could not fit everything in, but overall I really tried to, I definitely put in each day when, like, if we went on a new ride, that's definitely in here, but occasionally if we went on a ride multiple times in the same day, I didn't include it multiple times. So, moving on to Tuesday, so started the day with Starbucks. We pretty much started with Starbucks every day, but if I didn't have room, I just didn't mark it because obviously that's not the point, I guess, of this trip. So there was a Starbucks right across the road from our hotel, which made it really easy. We didn't have to go to the one that's inside either Disney or California Adventure, especially the one in California Adventure that is so poorly run that the queues are so long. So anyway, so this was a California Adventure day. So, sorry, with Genie Plus, like, and the reservation, you had to pick your park, and you can't park hop until after 1 p.m. So Monday was Disneyland, and then Tuesday was California Adventure. So our first ride was Monsters Inc. Again, I don't think it's called Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor at Disneyland, but it's Monsters Inc. I know what we're talking about, and I'm happy to go with that. We did also go on Guardians of the Galaxy this day, but I missed noting it down, which was a bit frustrating because Guardians is my favorite ride at California Adventure. Well, in my head and in my heart, it'll always be Hollywood Tower Hotel. Nothing can top that. If they ever change Paris and Disney World, I will scream. But I don't think the Guardians overlay is bad. It's just Hollywood Tower was so good. Like, it's just sad that it's gone. So, anyway, it's my favorite ride. So, I'm pissed that I missed marking it, but I did mark it. We went on it the next day as well, and I marked it there. So, and then, so next was Cars. So, Cars is not included in Genie Plus. You have to pay extra for Lightning Lane, which we did because I don't think I've mentioned it all, but I have really medically bad feet and I can't stand up for long periods of time. So, waiting in over hour-long lines for rides is just not something that I can do. It's just not physically possible. So, I paid $20 to jump the line. I have to. And even then, the line was still like 20 minutes, half an hour, even in paid Lightning Lane. So, unfortunately, it was only a ride we got to do once. last time on our trip, we went on it like so many times because, we either went on single rider or like got there for rope drop, but it seems like now for some reason people have kind of worked it out and the queue is always at least an hour long, and as I said, that's just not an option for me. So we went on it once. It probably didn't feel as exciting as it did last time. It's still a great ride, like so well done, so well themed, but it probably just didn't feel as exciting as last time. I don't know if that's because in the meantime we went to Tokyo, and at Tokyo Disney Sea they have a ride that uses the same technology, like the Test Track Cars technology, but it's 100 times better, and I don't know if now I'm like, oh, Cars is boring because this one is so much better. I don't know, but it's still a great ride. Love it. In my opinion, worth $20. So then we went on the Incredicoaster, which was the first time we actually went on this, because last time we were there, it was closed to become like the Incredibles overlay, and before that it was California Screamin'. So obviously it's the same ride, and we've been on California Screamin' before and loved it, but I love the Incredibles, and I really was excited to see what the overlay looked like. And to be honest, the start is great with Edna, and then the launch with what's his name, Dash. But then after that, you forget, you're on the ride. I'm not listening to the audio and the story and whatever until you pull up to the final breaks, and then there's Edna again. So I could take or leave the Incredibles overlay, which is kind of sad because as I said, I love the ride, I love the Incredibles, but it was probably a bit underwhelming for me. So yeah, the overlay. As I said, I love the ride. That's not in question. Then the first time we went on Midway Mania, which I don't know if it's at Disney World. It is at Tokyo Disney, but we couldn't go on it because the line is literally 4 hours long at all times of the day. But it was such a good ride. It's like a shooter, kind of like the Buzz Space Ranger spin, but modern, 2022. It uses screens and 3D and stuff. So I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't really heard of it. I'd heard of it, but I hadn't looked into it or anything, and it was so much better than I expected. We ended up going on it multiple times, and it's really fun because you obviously get to verse the person in your car, and I don't know, it was just, I really love those sort of rides, and to have a modern version was really cool. Then we went on the classic Bear Rapids. Of course, you have to go on Bear Rapids. It's a staple. You gotta play who gets the most wet. It's 30 degrees outside, so no one actually minds getting wet, but it's a good ride. Then we went on Journey of the Little Mermaid. Again, I don't think that's what it's called at Disneyland, but it's a Little Mermaid ride, and I used Flounder to mark that. Then, so the day doesn't flow chronologically, but I wanted to have the actual Disney bits of the park on the outside of the extender, and then the shopping on the inside, so I just swapped it around. So we went to the Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta place for lunch this day, so this was one of the 2 restaurants that I got to actually mark with. Apparently I don't really go to the Disney restaurants. We generally do quick service or eat outside of the park, so it's a little bit cheaper. Then we called an Uber to just do some shopping, just to kind of have a bit of a break. So we went to Michael's, Marshall's, and TJ Maxx, and then Barnes & Noble, which is, the bookstore is dead in Australia. We don't have really any bookstores left. There's a couple here and there, but nothing like Barnes, so we love going to Barnes & Noble. And then we went to Blaze Pizza, which was right across the road from our hotel, right next to the Starbucks. And this is somewhere that we don't have anything like. We do not have anything like a takeaway pizza, thin stone fried? The wood fried thing in a chain that you can put your own stuff on. Obviously, you can go to a restaurant and there's one-offs that you can make your own pizza, but not at a scale of like a chain takeaway restaurant. So I loved it. I thought it was such a good concept. The pizza was great. It was reasonably priced. We ended up going a second time, which you'll see. I would love something like this to come to Australia, so you don't have to have like the full-on Domino's or go out to an actual restaurant. Like, I just love the middle ground that it provides. So, loved that. Okay, we're halfway. 25 minutes. 25 minutes to go. Then on Wednesday, started the day with Starbucks again. So, of course. We went on Midway Mania. Again, we got a fast pass for that pretty early because the Lightning Lane goes really quick. So that was our first ride of the day. While we're over there, it's right next to the Incredicoaster on Pixar Pier. So we went to Pixar Pier on the Incredicoaster again as well. And then we went on Guardians. So as I said, like, I actually got to mark it this time. And then we came out of California Adventure like after 1 p.m. to do our park hopping, and we went into Disney instead. Not instead, I guess. And then went to Disney. We caught the monorail again to Tomorrowland, and then went on the Matterhorn and Big Thunder. Again, our two favourite rides as a family. And then we got to go on Haunted Mansion, which is my personal favourite. Probably, like, I would say 10 months of the year, Splash Mountain is my favourite, with Haunted Mansion a very, very close second. And then during Halloween and Christmas, when it is The Nightmare Before Christmas, one of my favourite movies of all time. I know some people don't like the overlay, but for me, those 2 months of the year, it's absolutely my favourite. It just makes me feel like, okay, like it's the holidays. When you're at Disney and Haunted Mansion is like, that has the overlay, you just know it's the holidays, and that feeling is just incredible when you go through the ballroom scene and it smells like pumpkins. It's just like, oh, it sounds so lame, but like, that's everything for me. So I love the Haunted Mansion so much. I always have. It's the very first ride I ever went in on my first trip to Disney when I was 10, and it's been my favourite ever since. Like, you just cannot top it. So before I start crying over a ride, let's move on. We then finished the night with another ride on Incredicoaster, which I didn't mark because I just did not have the room. And we watched the World of Colour, which I don't believe is in Disney World. It's like a show where they project movie scenes and they project movie scenes onto like the lake in front of Pixar Pier, and there's like water fountains and colours and songs and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's like a really cool show. It does like little clips of different movies, and I remember it from the last time we went. So they do like a big Little Mermaid scene, which she sings like Part of Your World, which is my favourite Disney song, favourite Disney movie. There's a Pirates of the Caribbean bit, so when Jack Sparrow came on, like, everyone was cheering, and then they do the classic Pirates of the Caribbean song, which I love, and then they just hit you in the feels, and they give you fucking The Lion King, which I have not seen The Lion King in 20 years, I refuse to, because it is way too sad. They could have done, like, Hakuna Matata, or, I don't know, anything else, but they literally give you the scene of Scar, like, I just standing over Simba, and it's just too much. I just cannot do it. So I remembered it was coming from last time, and I was just like, no, I'm not watching. I refuse. Like, this is the worst. This is supposed to be happy. So yeah, so it's a really good show. If you're ever in California Adventure, I really recommend it. It goes for about 20 minutes to half an hour. But so it's a quick, doesn't take too long, but I really think it's such a good show and it's really worth watching. Then we move on to Thursday. So again, we start the day with Starbucks. Do you notice a theme? And we took a little bit of time off in the morning to do some shopping. So we went to a shopping mall that we actually found last trip that we all enjoyed. It had like all the stores that we wanted to go to. So for me, I love going to Ulta. We don't have an Ulta here. We don't have anything that really crosses high end with a drugstore. So it's either like Sephora and Mecca, which has like all the stuff that Sephora does here, or like drugstore, chemist, pharmacy sort of business. So I love that you can go to Ulta and get both. You can also get like hair stuff, and I don't know, it's just a good store for me. I love going. This time, however, like overall, I didn't really buy much makeup, which is rare for me. Normally when I come home from America, my whole suitcase is filled with makeup. So, yeah, I mean, we grow, we live, we learn. So interesting. We went to Barnes & Noble again because not everyone went the last time and everyone loves Barnes. So we all went. And then we came back to Disney and we caught the Disney... It's not called the Walt Disney Railroad. It's called the Disneyland Express. But anyway. And we just sat on it and went all the way around to Tomorrowland. It's just a really nice way to, like, relax but still be in the Disney magic and just kind of take a few minutes. And also, obviously, it transports you. So, Tomorrowland is, like, the 3rd out of 4 stops. So, we almost did a full loop, but not quite. Got off at Tomorrowland and then went on the, again, I don't think it's called Space Ranger Spin, but the Buzz shooter thing, whatever you call it. My brother in January 2020 went over and worked at Disney World, and he worked on Buzz, so it's like a really special thing to him. Unfortunately, he had to come back like 2 months later because of COVID, and yeah, it was like really awful time, but he like really cherishes those 2 months that he got to work there. He loves telling everyone about like how the ride works and how to get the high scores and all that sort of thing. So we went on it a few times and it was just really nice to get to share that with him. Then we got lots of photos outside the castle because it was such a nice day. There was literally no clouds, no nothing. I did post a reel on Instagram probably a week ago now, which has like some photos of this week in Disney, and there are quite a few from the castle. So if you want to see those photos, you can check out my reel. It only goes for like 10 seconds, but there's a few photos in there. And for that, I had been saving this castle from Once More with Love. I knew I was going to use it for something special, and I did. Then we went on Rise of the Resistance, which, long story short, you also can't lightning lane this because it's like one of the new rides. You can pay to do lightning lane, but we were just hanging. Okay, so May the 4th, Rise of the Resistance goes down. Like, and it stops working for at least 24 hours. So it's the 5th, and we're just hanging out in Batu, just like, you know, drinking the blue milk and shit and wandering around and whatever. And I literally out of nowhere just say to my brother, who was like, he had control of the app because he had obviously worked in Disney World. He knew how to manipulate the app. So he had control. And I was just like, is Rise open yet? Like, just out of nowhere because it's literally been closed for a day. And he looks and it had just opened. So the line was 10 minutes. And if you don't know, the line for Rise is like 2 hours at all times, which again, I physically cannot do. So I was going to pay $20 to wait in it or to like skip it. So we ran across to Rise and we waited like 20 minutes to half an hour, which is just unheard of for Rise, and I didn't have to pay for it. So this was my first time on Rise, my second trackless ride. The Pooh Bear ride in Tokyo is trackless, so that was my first one. So I kind of knew a little bit what to expect. But obviously the Star Wars like overlay thing was just so well done. Earlier on in the trip, my brother and Troy went on it. Like, I went back to the hotel just to rest, and they went on Rise, and because Troy loves Star Wars, and Josh doesn't really, but he gets it. So they already had been on it. They knew like what to expect, and we didn't. And it was just like, it's a fucking masterpiece. Like, even if you don't like Star Wars, which I only really like Grogu, I don't love Star Wars, so it is a masterpiece and something everyone has to do. So incredible. Then we went on Indiana Jones, which is one of my favorite rides. I love Indy so much. It definitely has seen better days, and like, not all the animatronics are working and all that sort of thing, but it's still one of my favorite rides of all time. So we finished the evening off with that. And then Friday was our last day at Disney, which was always sad, but, all good things must come to an end. So we started off the day on what is not called the Tomorrowland Speedway at Disneyland, but is instead called Autopia, but it's the same thing. It's one of those, like, gimmicky kids rides that you just go on because it has a short queue or whatever. So we went on that, and that was fun. And then we went on the Haunted Mansion, of course, because it's my favourite and we need to go on it again. And then I was introduced to beignets, which I'd never had before, and I don't know why. They are literally the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I am obsessed with them. We actually had them again this day because I was so obsessed. I was like, no, I need more beignets. To be able to, like, book in on an app to come and order beignets at a certain time, and then you just walk up and they're ready. Like, stop me. Someone stop me, because that is not okay. Whew. Then we went on Space Mountain, and this one was kind of really exciting because it was the first time Dad had been on space. So rides aren't really his thing. He's not, like, huge into them, but we just knew that, like, if he went on space, he would love it. So he was, like, a bit nervous about it, but he went on it, and sure enough, he loved it. So it was really good to, like, have everyone go on space together. And then opening up the little extender, so we did more photos in front of the castle. Mum really wanted some family photos, like, in front of the Walt and Mickey statue that's in front of the castle. Because we had Genie Plus, we got the Max Pass, like, photographer access, so we used and abused that. And then we went on Indiana Jones again. I was just having a moment with it. I just was really, like, loving it. And then we had a bit of a relax at Starbucks, just kind of, like, sat down, had a drink, like, just chilled out for a bit. And yeah, had Starbucks again. And then we went on the Incredicoaster for the last time, but we went on it at sunset, and it was so pretty. The sun, like, kind of sets over, picks up here, and I don't know, it was just so nice at sunset. I think it'd be really cool at night too, but we just didn't have time to do it at night, so did it at sunset instead. And then I got to use the second of two restaurant scripts from the Planet Hannah's sheet. We went to Flo's V8 Cafe and had dinner. We'd actually been earlier in the week for lunch, but I wanted to mark it for when we actually sat down and had, like, dinner. That's just a really good, easy, quick service. What I love about it is they do, well, I call them chips, so you guys call them fries, that are not just, like, shoestring. For some reason, America has not discovered not shoestring fries yet, and I do not like shoestring. I think they're boring, they're tasteless, and I do not like them. So Flo's Cafe has steak fries, which are my favorite. Real chunky, thick fries, and I respect that, so thank you, Flo. I didn't mark it, but we also just, like, hung around Cars Land at night because it is so beautiful at night with all the neon colours and lights and all that sort of thing. Then we went on Big Thunder for the last time at night. It's like our goodbye, which was a bit sad. And then we sat down and had an amazing seat on view of the fireworks. So that was, like, a really nice way to finish off the trip. As I was watching the fireworks, like, I was sitting right at the back of the family. Like, I had some tears, it's just, like, so magical. And the trip was coming to an end, and I was just so thankful to be able to be here after 2 years of being locked in my house. Like, it was just a really emotional sort of experience. As I was walking down Main Street, like, to leave, I was just, like, so upset, but, like, in a good way, just thankful. That was my overwhelming emotion, was not because it was coming to an end, but more so I was just so thankful that we were able to do this trip. Like, I had some real low times last year. Like, I really was questioning the point of living at a time there, because we literally could not leave our house. Like, we were literally locked in, and I just did not understand the point. So less than a year later, to be at Disney watching the fireworks with family was just a humbling experience, and it was a real emotion. But I am so thankful to have been able to go and to experience this. And yeah, it's always sad to finish your trip, but my overwhelming emotion was thankfulness. So that's the end of Disney. Moving on to the weekend. So on Saturday, we had a bit of a sleep in, because obviously we had been go for 5 full days. I had decided I wanted to go visit the Erin Condren store, and I was going to get an Uber, but we decided to all get in the car and go for a drive instead. So we drove to Irvine, and I went to the Erin Condren store, which you will see in my upcoming haul. I did buy something. Then we just like kind of walked around that little weird shopping area for a bit, and we got in the car, and then we drove to Laguna Beach, but it was absolutely fucking pumping. Like, it was so busy, and it seemed really trendy, like beyond the level that we kind of, it wasn't really our thing, it didn't feel like. So we drove through Laguna, like looked at all the nice houses and the beach. Then we drove through Newport Beach and did like the same thing, just kind of cruised down the street, down Highway 1. And then we stopped at Huntington Beach. They had like I think it was like a jet ski carnival or something on. So it was also busy, but we'd been to Huntington Beach before, so it kind of felt a little more familiar. And we just like got out and had lunch and had ice cream and just like did like the LA beach kind of thing. It was nice to, see something else, because we always just do Anaheim. And then we generally always do Anaheim plus 1 day out in LA. That's normally like our recipe, I guess. So we did that again. It was really nice to go to Huntington Beach. Then we came back and just like kind of relaxed and braced for the day. The next day was going to be a big one. We finished off with Blaze Pizza, because I wanted to get it one more time before we went. I don't think there's one in Hawaii, so we had to like leave it behind, which I was sad about. And then I had to pack, because I had fucking shopping strewn everywhere. I just had bags and bags and bags of like shopping, and I needed to condense it all and put it into my suitcase. And then Sunday was the day that we left LA, so we had to get up at 4:30 a.m. because our flight was at 8. We drove to LAX and returned the rental car, and then we flew to Lihue, Kauai, which was my first time to Kauai, but we'll talk about that next week, because that's the Hawaii week. This was also with United, and this was like one of the probably best flights I've ever had. I really rate United. I know Americans seem to not love them for various reasons, but I really rated United's service, and I just really liked them. I slept like for a few hours, and I actually slept so deeply I had a dream, which if you sleep on the plane, it's not really sleep. It's kind of like a stupor to pass the time, but I actually had a dream, so I was like asleep, which is crazy. That sticker is from Fox and Cactus. I've never used that one before, but the colors worked so well I couldn't not. Then I watched some YouTube that I had downloaded, so I watched that on the plane and just kind of caught up. I think I watched Carly Plans' haul, and then I watched a plan with me from someone, don't know who. Then we got to Li Hui. We transferred to the hotel, which was like an hour from the airport. We kind of didn't realize, but it was so far away. And then we went to the local kind of grocery store because we had a apartment. We decided we wanted to like cook because we were kind of sick of eating out. One, because it's expensive, but two, because you just kind of get sick of it. So we decided to buy some like food to cook and make dinner and breakfast and all that sort of fun stuff. And then to finish off Sunday, I just relaxed by the pool, which is so nice. Again, after like such a busy week, to be able to just relax and swim in the pool was really nice. So I used what's that sticker from? Glam Planner sticker, I think. Yeah, one of like the Teeny and Friends stickers. So that is my Disney week. So I had such an incredible trip. Well, the trip's not over, but such an incredible time at Disney. As I mentioned, my overarching opinion was just of being thankful to be there. I just had such a good time. My only like thing that frustrates me is because of my feet problem. Like I just can't do as much as I would love to do, but I can't complain. I did so much. I had such a good time. The other thing I wish I could have marked in my planner is probably like we did a lot of like shopping, like going to the different stores throughout the park that all have like names and themes, and I would have loved to have been able to mark that, but I would have used no full boxes. Like I don't know how people do it, because I literally would have used no full boxes if I had just marked absolutely everything. There's quite a bit that I left out from some days because I guess you pick and choose like what's important to mark and what I want to remember when I look back. It's probably more so the rides that we did rather than the shops that we shopped at, but you know, it's just one of those things. This is my second Disney spread in this like kind of planning style, and it's interesting to see. It's always a hard one. Like I always get a bit nervous doing these spreads because you just don't know how they're going to turn out, but overall, like I cannot complain. I'm so happy with this kit and with this spread. So last but not least, moving on to the sidebar, I had been saving this Once More with Love sheet to use because I knew this was what I was going to do. So I ended up using the big castle sticker, the one that I couldn't fit on the other time I used a castle. And I put that in on the sidebar up the top, as you will see right there. And then I used the little script that says dreams do come true, because that's really how I felt. Like I felt like my dreams were coming true again, being able to go back to Disney. I was kind of didn't know what I wanted to put in, like the words, and then I saw that and I'm just like, yes, that's it, that's perfect. Then I used this like little munchkin holding the balloon, and I cut up, one of the words said family fun, so I cut off the fun to use family, and then adventure, because it was a family trip and we had such a good time as a family, and I really wanted to be able to remember that. So in a second I will zoom out, I will do a bit of a wiggle and show you the full spread, but I really am so happy with it. I'm so thankful to now have these memories to look back on. I apologize for shaking the camera, but I'm so thankful to have these memories to look back on, and just, I don't know, just you can just open the planner and be like, oh, I remember we did this, or remember we saw World of Color, or remember we ended our Disney trip with the fireworks and that sort of thing. So I'm just really thankful to have these memories overall. So now I'm just flipping through the stuff that I didn't use, nothing too exciting, but thank you guys for sticking with me. This was a long one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about the trip or the stickers, please comment down below or message me on Instagram. And yeah, stay tuned for the Hawaii part of the trip. Thanks guys. Bye.